What if your greatest power isn't shown when you react to chaos, but when you master the art of moving through it untouched? What if becoming unbothered isn't denial? It's the ultimate act of faith and self-control, where you no longer allow external noise to control your internal peace. Imagine realizing that true strength is not found in winning arguments or proving points, but in walking through fire and remaining calm, grounded, and immovable. Welcome to a powerful shift. Learning to act as if nothing bothers you is not pretending. It's protecting your destiny, your peace, and your future. Learn to act as if nothing bothers you. Emotional control is power. By Billy Graham. YouTube, you see, there's something powerful about a man or a woman who knows how to protect their peace. I'm not talking about ignoring reality or pretending life doesn't hurt. No, I'm talking about walking through the fire and still choosing not to let it burn your spirit. I'm talking about smiling through storms, not because everything is okay, but because you've decided that nothing is worth losing your mind over that kind of peace, that kind of strength. It doesn't come from the world. It comes from deep within a place where faith lives, where identity is unshakable, and where you know exactly who you are, and more importantly, whose you are. There will always be something trying to pull you out of your peace. People will lie on you. Friends will disappoint you. Opportunities will slip through your fingers. And life, well, life has a way of hitting you when you least expect it. But if you let every little thing touch your spirit, if you allow every rude comment or painful memory to dictate your reaction, then you've handed your power over to things that don't deserve it. You're better than that. Your destiny is too big, and your purpose is too sacred to be shaken by things that don't matter. 5 years from now, you've got to protect your peace. Like it's a treasure, because it is. Don't just give it away. Because somebody said something you didn't like, don't let someone else's chaos become your companion. And listen, don't let their war become your battlefield. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not everything demands your energy. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Just breathe. Stand still and let God handle what you were never meant to carry in the first place. You've been through enough already. You've cried behind closed doors. You've wrestled with battles nobody saw. And yet here you are, still standing. That's not weakness. That's strength. And now, it's time to guard that strength like never before, because the enemy doesn't come for the empty house. He comes for the one filled with promise, the one that glows in the dark, the one that still has a future in spite of the past. And if he can't destroy you, he'll try to distract you. He'll try to pull you into battles that don't belong to you, arguments that drain you, people that provoke you, situations that tempt you to step out of character. But hear me, your peace is not passive. It's powerful. It's not the absence of trouble. It's the presence of trust. You don't stay calm because you're ignoring reality. You stay calm because you know God is still in control. And if He's in control, why should you lose control? They might talk about you. Let them. They might walk away. Let them go. They might not understand you. That's not your job. To fix your job is to stay in peace. Walk in purpose and keep your eyes on the one who knows the end from the beginning. Because when you stay in peace, You confuse the enemy when you refuse to react. You frustrate every plan that was meant to get a rise out of you. That's when God steps in and says, "Now I can fight for you." You can't reach your destiny if you're always trying to settle scores. You can't hear God's voice clearly if your mind is full of noise. That's why you've got to learn to walk away without bitterness, to speak with grace even when you're angry, and to smile, not because everything is good, but because you know it's going to be protect your peace like it's your life. Because in many ways it is. The world may shake, but don't let it shake. You keep your posture, keep your calm, keep your joy, not because the battle isn't real, but because your God is. And when people wonder how you're still standing, just smile and say, "Because I refuse to give my peace away." See, you know there's something about silence that makes people uncomfortable. We live in a world where everyone feels like they have to say something. Every opinion must be voiced. Every attack must be answered. Every rumor must be corrected. But there's a deeper kind of power found in stillness, a kind of strength that doesn't have to shout to be heard. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all now. Don't confuse silence with weakness. The world will try to make you believe that if you don't respond, you're letting someone walk all over you, that if you don't fight back with words, you're letting them win. But let me tell you, real power doesn't panic. Real strength isn't loud. It's composed. It's steady. It's rooted when you have peace within, when your heart is anchored in something greater than the moment. You don't need to react to every voice that tries to pull you out of that calm. There are battles in life that are only won by your silence, not because you're avoiding conflict, but because you've learned to master your response. You've come to understand that not every situation deserves your voice. Sometimes silence is the loudest sermon you'll ever preach. It says, "I'm above this." It says, "I know who I." And it says, "You don't have the power to disturb the still waters in me." Let me ask you something. How many times have you looked back and wish you hadn't said what you said in the heat of the moment? How many times did your reaction cost you your peace, your joy, your sleep? That's why wisdom teaches you to pause, to hold your tongue, to sit with your emotions before your emotions speak for you. Because once those words leave your mouth, they don't come back. And while people may forget what you said, they won't forget how you made them feel. God often does his best work in the quiet. He speaks and whispers, not shouts. He leads in peace, not pressure. And when you choose silence in the face of chaos, you're aligning yourself with that divine rhythm. You're stepping out of the world's noise and into heaven's clarity. And that's when discernment comes. That's when healing flows. That's when you begin to see with new eyes and hear with a new heart. Some of the most spiritual things you can do have nothing to do with speaking and everything to do with listening. Listening to God, listening to yourself, listening for wisdom before reacting out of wounds. It takes humility to be quiet. It takes maturity to not have the last word. And it takes faith to trust that even when you're silent, justice is still moving, truth is still working, and God is still fighting. You don't have to respond to every insult. You don't have to defend yourself to everyone who misunderstands you. You don't need to clap back, host back, or fire back. When you choose silence, you're not giving up. You're rising above. You're saying, "My time, my peace, and my soul are too valuable to spend on this." John. Sometimes the people around you will wonder why you're so quiet. They'll expect you to explode, to argue, to explain. But your silence will confuse them. It will disarm them, and most importantly, it will protect you, because not everything deserves access to your emotions. Not everything deserves your presence. And not everyone deserves a seat at your table just because they knocked on the door. You see, silence is not just the absence of noise. It's the presence of strength. It's the decision to hold your ground without needing to shake the ground. It's when you choose grace over gossip, restraint over reaction, and peace over pride. That's a kind of holiness. The world doesn't understand, but heaven does. So learn to be quiet sometimes. Learn to pray instead of panic. Learn to wait instead of worry. And when the time comes to speak, let your words carry the weight of wisdom, not the weight of woundedness, because silence isn't weakness. It's spiritual warfare done wisely. One of the most overlooked strengths in life is the ability to be unreadable, not cold, not distant, but secure. See, when people can't figure you out, they can't control you, when they don't know what shakes you, they don't know where to strike, and when they can't tell what's going on in your mind or your heart, they can't manipulate your emotions. That's why it's so important to stop wearing your feelings on your sleeve. There's a quiet power in being steady, private and composed, no matter what's happening around you. Some of us were taught that we have to explain ourselves to everybody, that we owe people an explanation for why we're quiet, why we walked away, why we changed, why we don't show up like we used to. But let me tell you something. You don't owe anybody access to your internal life, what you feel, what you're healing from, what you're building, what you're dreaming. It's sacred. It's holy ground, and not everybody deserves to walk on it. We live in a world that demands transparency, but doesn't offer protection. People want to know your every move, your every thought, your every reaction, so they can use it, twist it, or even compete with it. But you don't have to let them in. It's not rude to keep parts of yourself private. It's wise, because when people know too much about your emotions, they start trying to press your buttons, and if you're not careful, you'll be dancing to the rhythm of their games rather than walking to the beat of your calling. Don't give them a blueprint to your soul. Let them wonder. Let them assume. Let them ask questions and find no answers, because that's where your peace lives, in the silence, in the mystery, in the strength of not needing to be understood. The more they see them, or they aim. But when you guard your spirit, when you walk with quiet confidence, they don't know how to approach you. They don't know if you're hurting or healing. They don't know if you're wounded or winning, and that, my friend, is power. Do you ever notice how the strongest people don't always speak the loudest? They don't announce their comebacks. They don't cry for attention. They just move in silence and let the results speak. That's what we're called to do. Because when you let everyone into your process, you open the door for confusion, judgment, and distractions. But when you stay quiet, focused, and rooted in who you are, you protect your future from those who would try to sabotage it before it even arrived. Some folks only want to know your pain so they can use it against you. Some only want to hear your plans so they can compete with you. That's why you've got to stop putting your emotional life on display like it's for sale. It's not for sale. It's not even for rent. It belongs to you and to God, and that's enough. Now, I'm not saying isolate yourself. I'm not saying shut down. I'm saying discern who deserves access. Know the difference between a confidant and a critic. Know who can handle your vulnerability and who would weaponize it. Because not everyone who smiles at you has your healing in mind. Some just want information. But you were never called to be a source of entertainment for broken people, trying to make sense of their own chaos. There's strength in mystery, there's safety in silence, and there's wisdom in knowing that your peace depends on your privacy. The next time someone tries to provoke you, and you just smile and stay calm, that's power. The next time someone expects you to explain yourself, and you choose to say less, that's maturity. The next time life hits you, and you walk with grace anyway, that's growth. Let them guess, let them wonder, let them talk, because people can't shake what they can't read. One of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn in life is this: not everything deserves your attention. Not every insult needs a response. Not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes the greatest show of strength is walking away, not in defeat, but in dignity, because when you know who you are, and more importantly, when you know who walks with you, you don't need to defend yourself against every little thing that tries to pull you down. See, when you start growing, elevating, and healing, you'll notice something. You'll notice that chaos will start calling your name. Drama will come. Knocking, disrespect will try to find a way in. It's like the moment you begin protecting your peace, everything that threatens it shows up to test you. And the enemy doesn't always show up wearing red horns and a pitchfork. Sometimes he comes wrapped in the voice of an old friend, a toxic ex, a jealous co-worker, or even your own inner critic. And that's when you have to choose: am I going to lose myself trying to prove something to people who never valued me in the first place, or am I going to rise above and walk away in peace? It takes maturity to walk away. It takes self-control to not clap back. Anybody can argue. Anybody can explode. Anybody can drag themselves into a war of words and emotions. But it takes a person of character to remain silent in the face of chaos and keep moving forward without turning around to entertain it. You are not built to live in a constant state of reaction. You are not called to be on defense every single day, trying to protect your name, your feelings, your pride. You're called to be still and know, not fight and prove. And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is simply ignore it, not out of pride, but out of protection, protecting your peace, protecting your future, protecting your growth. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you understand the value of your time, your energy, and your sanity. You don't have to let everything get to you. You don't have to carry what was never yours. To begin with, some people are not looking for reconciliation. They're looking for reaction. And if they can get you to react, they'll distract you from what really matters. So the next time they lie about you, stay silent. The next time they try to provoke you, walk away. The next time someone tries to drag your name through the mud, remember, it's not your job to roll around in the dirt with them. Your job is to keep walking head high, heart clean, hands free, because you've got somewhere to be. You've got purpose to fulfill. You've got peace to protect. And listen, when you walk away, you're not just walking from them. You're walking toward something. You're walking toward your calling, toward your healing, toward your better days. Every step away from chaos is a step closer to clarity. Every time you refuse to engage with what's beneath, you rise a little higher. Now, that doesn't mean you'll always feel like walking away. It doesn't mean your emotions won't flare up. or your pride won't want to respond. But that's when you lean on wisdom, that's when you remind yourself, this is not worth my peace, this is not worth my growth, this is not worth me stepping out of character. You're not being FA, you're being faithful, faithful to your progress, faithful to your values, faithful to your future. Some of the greatest victories are won in silence, not because you didn't have something to say, but because you chose to protect what God is doing in your life. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them twist the story. Truth doesn't need a defense when time and character are already speaking on your behalf. You're not here to win every argument. You're here to win the war for your soul. Let me tell you something that very few people will remind you of. You are not responsible for how others see you. You can live your whole life trying to please people, trying to be understood, trying to correct the lies, straighten the stories, explain your decisions, and still, someone will twist it. Still, someone will doubt. Someone will say they've changed when all you did was grow. You weren't called to be understood. You were called to be faithful. And there's a peace that comes when you finally stop chasing people's approval and start resting in the truth of who you really are. You see, people will misunderstand your silence. They'll question your boundaries. They'll misread your growth. Some will think you're distant. Others will say you become arrogant or cold. But what they don't understand is that you've simply learned to value your peace. You've stopped giving explanations where they're not needed. You've stopped trying to convince people who already made up their minds about you. And that right there is freedom. You don't owe anyone a detailed map of your transformation. If they knew the tears you cried behind closed doors, if they saw the nights you wrestled with God, if they heard the prayers that carried you through the valley, they would understand why you walk the way you walk now. But even if they never do, that's okay. You didn't grow for their approval. You didn't heal for their applause. You did it because something in you refused to stay broken. Something in you believed there was more. And that something is what you protect. Now, not with loud declarations, but with quiet decisions. Let them misread you. Let them assume, let them say what they want. Your job is not to manage their opinions. Your job is to manage your peace. You'll wear yourself out, trying to fix the way people see you. And the truth is, some people need to misunderstand you, because the moment they really see you, they'd have to confront their own unwillingness to grow. They'd have to face the reality that the version of you they were comfortable with is no longer available. And listen, it hurts. I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't. It hurts when people twist your growth into pride. It hurts when they take your silence as rejection. It hurts when they call your distance fake, when really it's just boundaries that weren't there before. But pain isn't always a sign that something's wrong. Sometimes it's a sign that something is finally right. You've stopped giving yourself away for free. You've stopped showing up empty just to be present. You've stopped performing. And that healing, it comes with a price, but it's worth it. You can't please everyone and protect your peace at the same time. You've got to choose. And when you choose peace, you choose alignment with your purpose. You choose clarity over confusion. You choose God's voice over the noise of the crowd, because the same crowd that praised you yesterday can crucify you tomorrow. That's why you don't build your identity on applause. You build it on the unshakable foundation of truth. Let them talk. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Your job is to stay grounded, stay humble, stay aligned. Keep walking with grace. Keep choosing wisdom. Keep protecting your space, your mind, your spirit. 'Cause the more you grow, the less you'll need to be understood. You'll find rest not in their approval, but in the quiet assurance that you're on the right path. Even if nobody claps for you, you are not required to shrink, so others can feel comfortable. You are not required to explain why you needed to separate. To heal, you are not required to respond every time someone pokes at your. Peace maturity means being okay with being misunderstood. It means trusting that time, fruit, and character will speak louder than any defense you could ever give. So let it be. Let them misread your silence. Let them question your distance. Let them call your growth a threat. But you keep walking, keep becoming, keep protecting the peace that cost you too much to lose news. When you learn to stay calm in storms, you declare that your peace is non-negotiable. You stop giving away pieces of yourself to every provocation, every rumor, every disappointment. You become untouchable, not because life stops testing you, but because you've decided your spirit is no longer available for rent to negativity. There's a silent power in being composed. It confuses the enemy. It disarms the manipulator. It strengthens the soul. Stay rooted. Stay calm. Stay focused. Because your purpose is far too important to be delayed by distractions that aren't even worthy of your energy.